Why order Southern fried chicken from a fast food restaurant when you can make it in under 30 minutes with a handful of ingredients? Give me 5 minutes. How? We're going to start by butterflying our chicken drumsticks. Let me show you a quick and easy way of doing it. So I'm taking the drumstick, holding it firmly with one hand, and I've got a pair of poultry scissors. I'm going to dig it in right above the bone and just chop away and dig in and chop and dig in and chop away. And it's that quick and easy. And then you just spread them apart. If you have a little more flesh in there that you want to cut away, just go back in with your scissors and dig in a little bit more. These are poultry scissors that come apart so that I can wash them in the dishwasher. A big part of the reason that I butterfly these drumsticks is so that the seasoning gets right into the center. So the next step is going to be seasoning them. And as you can see, we've got lots of flesh exposed, so we're going to have lots of seasoning going into all those nooks and crannies. So I've got my chicken all prepared. Next step is to season it generously. But before I do that, I am of course going to switch my gloves because I do not want to cross-contaminate any of my appliances. My seasoning is really simple. It consists of 3 types of spices: Old Bay, garlic, and some good old paprika. The quantities will be listed in the description box below. I do eyeball it often. Sometimes I add to this a little bit of chili powder or chili flakes if I want to spice it up. Last but not least, a little bit of paprika. Mix the spices really well so that there are no clumps and bumps and it's really thoroughly combined. Time to season our chicken drumsticks. Get right into the nooks and crannies. We're going to do a little bit on this side and we're going to do a little bit on the other side as well. Do one side first and then flip them all over so that you don't have to go in between flipping and spicing them up. With your free hand, you're going to now turn them over. And then you're going to spice this side so that one hand is always dry and the wet hand is the only one that you use to flip them over. That way you won't get the spices sticking to your glove. Time to season the other side now. I'm not being light with the seasoning. This is where all that flour comes driving out. So you want to make sure you're generous with the seasoning. So we're going to make our wet mixture now. So I'm going to put about a cup of milk, a teaspoon of vinegar, and half of the leftover seasoning. We're going to give that a really good mix. To this wet mixture, I'm adding about 2 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons of flour, so it becomes really thick and sticks to those drumsticks. Don't worry about these little bits and pieces. Those are going to make the chicken drumsticks even crispier, so you want a few bumps and lumps. The rest of the seasoning goes straight into the flour. This is your dredge, and we're going to mix it all up right into the flour. So every part of this chicken drumstick is going to be thoroughly seasoned. So we're going to start off by putting it into the dry. Both sides, pat it down so it really gets coated with the flour. The more flour that it's coated with, the more that the wet is going to stick to it. Now we're going to go into the wet. And it's going to go in, and we're going to go back into the dry. And just pat it down, pat it down. If you have little pieces stuck on the side, don't worry about it. It just makes it crispier and delicious. If you are not making a mess, you are not doing it right. This is a messy affair. Chicken's butterflied, seasoned, and coated. Time to fry it up. Because we butterflied the chicken, it's a lot less thick, so we need to use a lot less oil when we're frying them in the fry pan. So I've only got about ½ an inch of oil in my pan. Let's test the oil by dropping a little piece of batter in that's been floured, and it's bubbling all around the sides, so it's almost there. It's not quite coming up quickly enough, so just in a few more minutes, this oil is going to be ready for the first batch. I'm going to put a little bit of salt on top, and then we're going to salt it again when it comes right out of the oil. We're going to start putting the chicken in, and you want the fat side towards the outside. You certainly don't want to put too many. You don't want to overcrowd your pan, but you don't want to put so few that you don't have the oil coming up. So 5 in this case is just about right. It's time to flip them over. They're starting to brown on the one side. And just very gently, you don't want any splatter, very gently flip them over. We're going to leave it a little bit longer on this side because it's the thicker side. Always helps to make sure the temperature, internal temperature, is above 165. So don't hesitate to temp your chicken. I'm going to flip them over one more time and let them cook for another 3 to 4 minutes. These have all temped at over 170, so they're thoroughly cooked through. We're going to put it on the wire mesh, and I've lined some paper towel underneath to catch some of the drippings. We're going to put a little more salt right on top while they're hot. Look at these pieces of chicken looking just delicious, golden brown, ready with a little bit more seasoning of salt. With just a handful of ingredients in under 30 minutes, we have delicious, marinated, crispy Southern fried chicken, and it's time to taste. So crispy, so delicious. Join me for more easy recipes and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I so look forward to seeing you soon.